Hello everyone, welcome to the Divine Diva Universe. Now, in today's video we're gonna talk about divorcing, separating, distancing yourself from your parents. Now this is gonna be an interesting video for me because this is something that I have done a while ago, but it's so interesting how it can how it comes back in layers and in many different ways. But in this video I want to share this thing specifically, this part specifically, because this truly has changed everything for me. Now I know your girl looks kind of crazy, but bear with me. I just washed my hair, you already know, but I still wanted to give y'all this video while the information is, fresh. So let's talk about it. Divorcing, separating yourself from your parents. Why this is important. This has been something very essential to my growth, to helping me become the best version of myself. And honestly, I did not realize this until a while back when I was journaling on my relationship with money. And it's so interesting that this idea of separating from my parents came from asking myself, how is my relationship with money? How do I view money? How do I think about money? What is my belief? What is my idea about money? And when I was asking myself this question, a lot of these things come up, but one of the things that I noticed is the beliefs that came up. And I was like, when these beliefs came up, these stories, I was just asking, this is me journaling. I was just journaling on this topic. I was asking myself, where does this belief or this idea come from? And I sit with it for a while, and it was so interesting to me to remember or to see where it came from. And it was from my parents. And now I also want to say, when I'm talking about separating, divorcing yourself from the parents, it's not from a space of viewing them as the villains or being the victim or blaming them or judging them. No, it's from the space of seeing them as humans, as other people having their own experience. It's true, they are your parents, and somehow, some way, they are responsible for bringing you in this planet. But then again, they're also just trying to figure this out. They're also just going with it. So who are we to blame them? They only know what they did best. Or it's not like, oh, you did this and you did this is why this happened. No, it's seeing them as people that are having their own experience, separating yourself from them, knowing that they did what they thought is right or wrong, and they did their best. And maybe their best wasn't enough for you, but what do you expect them? And it's not even about what do you expect, but how can you expect something better or different when that's not what they know? That's not their experience. So it's really about putting this distance between y'all and viewing them as people who are having their own experience. Like I needed to go deep into myself there, and I needed to legit separate myself. It's like in the sense of mommy is mommy, Vivi is Vivi, papi is papi, Vivi is Vivi. We are two. We are different. And when I was doing this, I was actually again, I was questioning my relationship with money. I was journaling on this topic, and from journaling from that topic I went all the way to my parents. I was thinking, what the fuck does the one has to do with the other? Girl, everything. And this is the thing that I learned from this, how much it actually has to do with everything. Because what happened is, I'm gonna give y'all an example, my personal real life example, and these numbers that I'm saying are not real. So my mom was making 30,000 a month, but each month she was saving 10,000 and she was investing the 20,000 into other businesses, projects, side hustle, all of this shit, because she was trying to make money work for her. My father was making 300,000 a month, but within a week he was already asking people to lend him money, to loan him money. The money was already gone, it already disappeared. That was their monthly income. So what happens is, I am a child, I see them, I see that this is their relationship with money. I see that this is, the thing is, my mom always said this: you have to save money and you have to find a way to make money work for you. You have to invest in yourself. But her way of investing in herself is investing in other business or other opportunities or side hustle, whatever it is, to make money, more money. So it was never the type of investing where she would go and have a luxury spa or, you know, none of those things. My father believed that work hard, find a good job that pays well, and live your life how you want to. Money is always come back. Money is nothing. And he will always say, like, it doesn't matter, because as a kid I would be so fucking confused as to how you're making so much money and we are living in a house with no electricity and water. Like, what the fuck is going on here? And each time he would tell this story about being humble and money doesn't buy happiness, and you know, all of these stories that he had this belief that, you know, money is not important. You just make sure you make enough money and you use it how you want it. So when I was growing up, these are the two things that I heard from them, and then this were the situations that I was seeing from what they believed about money. And I remember that I was just thinking that this doesn't make any sense. And later on, you know, like a couple years ago, when I started journaling on this, how is my relationship with money, these things came up. And I was like, oh, this is when the separation happened. Because I had to start seeing them as their own person with their own belief systems and their own ideas about money. However, because they were my parents and they were the only example that I have, that's what I saw. That's what I grew up looking at, seeing. So somehow, some way, I ended up believing that too. So I had to separate myself in order to realize their beliefs are their beliefs and mine are my own. And that is when I questioned myself, in the sense of, I journal on this, on, are the beliefs or ideas or the experiences, the relationship that I had with money, is it my own idea? Is it my own belief? Or is it what I saw based on my experience with my parents and how they managed money and they dealt with money? Because another thing that didn't make sense for me is how I was seeing other people outside of my parents having so much money, and you know, it wasn't like it wasn't in the energy of my mother of like, you have to save and invest money and da da da. And it wasn't like my father that you have to just spend and not care in the world, da da da. They had this whole other relationship, and so their experience was also different. And all of this were things that were like, why is it all different? I wanted to figure that out. And that's why all this journaling happened. So what happens is I had to separate myself. And when I separate myself, I could have seen where these, somehow I have adapted and implemented these ideas and these beliefs from my parents. And one of the things that I did with myself in this journaling process is that I had to see where it reflected back in my own life, in my past, when I was making money, working, and all of these other, because your girl had all these beautiful experiences with money, so I had to reflect back and sit with that and see where does this ideas or belief that my parents had somehow played out in my life, because I also believed it and adapted it. And when I realized that during that separation, because we're still in the separation frame, is when I had to step back and figure out, okay, what are my own ideas? And what are the lessons that I can learn from both of my parents, from both of these experiences? So from my mom, one of the things that I took with me from that belief is to save and make money work for you. However, not in the same way that she had it, where she would invest 20,000 of her monthly income into other side hustles and business and all these things, which is great, but that is not the only way. And from my father is learn to have discipline with how you spend money, and be careful of the ideas that you have. Because my father had all these, some of these ideas didn't even make sense, because I was thinking, like now I'm thinking, how was he making so much money when he believed that money is nothing? Like, however, I don't know how his belief system is entirely, but that's just one of the things that I saw. So that is one of the lessons that I've took from each of these experiences. There's so many, but this is exactly the ones that I want to share with y'all, because these are the ones that are heavy on me. So after I look at their own experience, look at their own example, and see and take the lesson, understand and separate myself, and know that they are their own person and I am my own person, then I had the opportunity to really go deep in myself and ask myself, what are my own ideas? What are my own beliefs? And this is where I had to start from scratch, because I had to remove all those ideas from them and then create my own, which was, now I had unlimited possibility, because I could decide what to believe, whatever it is that I want, or whatever it is that works for me. Now it can be crazy, but something that really works for me based on past experience that I have, or ideas that I may still have that are not working right now. So this is what I wanted to share with you all in regards of separating, divorcing yourself from your parents. Now it's very interesting, because this whole idea of divorcing and separating yourself from our parents came when I was legit asking myself, what is my relationship with money? My intention was just to better my relationship with money, and I end up with my parents and viewing and having this childhood experience, and I'm like, oh, why am I here? I just want to fix my relationship with money, like what? But all of it is related, it all goes together. So I really wanted to share that with y'all, because this has helped me change so many, like when I realized this, I was like, oh my god, I gotta separate myself from many other things. Like, this is just the beginning, because this idea came from wanting to better my relationship with money. And when this idea came up, I was like, oh my god, where else can I implement this with my parents? What ideas or other beliefs do I have because of them, or where am I limiting myself because of the ideas that I have of them? So that is an interesting food for thought, but I'm not gonna delve into that unless it comes up. So I really enjoy this, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and I hope y'all learn something from it. I just loved sharing this with you because this is just me sharing my journaling process and all how of these things come up, and just having these ideas of, oh my god, now I understand why sometimes it's important for you to separate yourself from your parents. And as I mentioned in the beginning in the video, not in a bad way, but more so in the way of what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn from their experience, and then apply it to my life to better my life, because that's what we all about in the Diva Universe here. So I'll see you guys in the next video.